There is a place on Earth where people vanish without a sound. No police, no rescue. Only mountains, mist, and silence stretching across three borders. For decades, these valleys fed the world's heroin markets. Today, they swallow thousands of people who enter and never return. This is the Golden Triangle, the disappearing zone of Southeast Asia. Look closely at the map. At the border where Myanmar, Thailand, and Laos meet, the land fractures into deep forests and broken mountains. Here, governments fade, militias rule, and entire criminal systems operate as if they were independent countries. To understand how this happened, we must travel back to 1949. The Chinese Civil War had just ended. Defeated Kuomintang soldiers poured across the border into Burma and Laos. They arrived exhausted and starving, stepping into a land already divided by ethnic conflict. A land where the Shan, the Wa, and the Kachin had lived for generations. A land where opium had been grown long before heroin reached the world's streets. The soldiers needed money to survive. The villagers needed protection. An uneasy alliance formed, and without anyone realizing it, the foundation of the Golden Triangle was laid. Throughout the 1950s and 60s, the opium trade grew like a shadow. Caravans of horses carried raw opium through mountain passes. Refineries hid behind bamboo huts and waterfalls. Morphine base moved down the Mekong River, and militias armed themselves with the profits. When the Vietnam War exploded across Southeast Asia, everything changed. American soldiers created a massive demand for heroin, and the Golden Triangle supplied it. In the early 1970s, heroin from these mountains reached the United States, Europe, and Australia. This remote borderland, far from any city lights, was shaping the global drug market. Then came the man the world called the Opium King, Kun Sa. Born to a Shan mother and Chinese father, he learned early that power in these mountains did not come from governments, it came from armies. By the 1970s, he commanded thousands of soldiers. His base at Homang, near the Thai border, became a fortified city with schools, clinics, bunkers, and refineries. He claimed to fight for the Shan people, but his empire was built on heroin. In 1985, the United States indicted him and offered a $2 million reward for his capture. But the jungle protected him. Local communities depended on him, and his army was stronger than the governments around him. When he surrendered in 1996 and retired peacefully in Yangon, the Golden Triangle did not fall with him. A new power was already rising. In the far north, the United Wa State Army emerged as the strongest militia in Myanmar. After a 1989 ceasefire, they controlled their own autonomous region along the Chinese border. Intelligence agencies linked the UWSA to large-scale heroin and meth production. And a new era began. Opium was fading. Synthetic drugs were rising. Methamphetamine required no poppy fields, no seasons, no sunlight, just chemicals, hidden labs, and skilled cooks. By the mid-2010s, the Golden Triangle had become one of the world's biggest meth manufacturing zones. Billions of dollars worth of product flowed into Thailand, Malaysia, Australia, China, and beyond. But behind every drug empire lies a human tragedy. In these mountains, that tragedy belongs to the villagers, families who never chose this life but had nowhere else to turn. Imagine living in a place where the nearest hospital is a day away, where roads vanish whenever it rains, where schools are few and jobs even fewer. For many families, the poppy was not a crime, it was survival. When opium eradication campaigns arrived, many lost everything. Rubber, tea, and maize were introduced as legal alternatives, but they earned almost nothing. So the cycle continued. Couriers, field workers, scouts, runners. Entire generations trapped in an economy created by war, geography, and poverty. But the darkest transformation came not from the poppy fields and not from meth labs. It came from glass buildings surrounded by razor wire and armed guards. Around 2020, a new industry spread across militia-controlled regions like Mayawati, Kokang, Mongla, and Shui Koko. Cyber scam compounds. High-rise prisons disguised as economic zones. Inside them, thousands of people were imprisoned. The method was simple. Fake job ads, real contracts, real office photos, high salaries, visas provided. Victims came from India, Nepal, Malaysia, China, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, and Africa. When they arrived at border towns, their passports were taken, their phones seized, guns at every exit. Escape impossible. United Nations reports and police investigations describe what happened behind those locked doors. Workers forced to run online investment scams, crypto fraud, and love traps. Beatings for those who refused, starvation for those who slowed down, electric shocks for those who resisted. Some were sold from one compound to another like property. This was the Golden Triangle's new empire. Not heroin, not meth, but people. Some managed to run. They escaped through forests thick with fog and crossed rivers in the dead of night. Thai police rescued victims along the Moe River. Others were freed only after families paid huge ransom fees. In 2023 and 2024, China pressured northern Myanmar militias. Raids were conducted. Thousands of scam workers were deported. But deep in the conflict zones, many compounds still operate, hidden and shifting. The system survives because the conflict survives. The Golden Triangle does not change because the forces holding it together remain unbroken. Myanmar's civil war is the longest in the world. Ethnic militias control territories the size of small nations. Borders are porous. Governments are weak. Demand for drugs and scams stays high. And poverty pushes families into the only economy that pays enough to survive. Law has no roots in these mountains. Crime does. The world sees the Golden Triangle as a map of criminal empires, but behind every headline is a face. A mother who sent her son for a job and never heard from him again. A farmer who watched soldiers march through his village. A child raised between drug labs and militia checkpoints. A worker who entered for opportunity and vanished behind locked doors. This region is not made of gold. It is made of people. People trapped by history, by geography, and by a world that never looked closely enough. The Golden Triangle is a disappearing zone, but the voices trapped inside it must not disappear with it.
History never ends. Like and subscribe to see what's next.